Now we
Yeah, how's everyone doing out there? Master Phil here with Master Phil in your corner with my man Dougie Fresh
Yes,
from
sir.
Undefeated Studios. And been silent for a while, trying to digest and investigate what's going on with this COVID situation and where it's all going. There's a lot of misinformation being bandied about, some purposefully and others unwittingly or at least unknowingly. So, there's some, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if everyone who's talking about this knows what's really and truly going on. But first, we're going to make a few announcements. A couple announcements. Are you feeling cooped up and cooped in? Do you want to get some exercise but can't get to the gym? Visit philross.com and check out workouts brought right to your house. The American Eagle Live Facebook group for only $19.99 for the first month. We have the Kettlebell Workout Library with well over 100 workouts with kettlebells and body weight. We also have the Survival Strong self-defense and bodyweight strength program. And I'm also a featured instructor on the Burn Along website, where I have a whole bunch of other instructors there too, just putting out workouts. And, if you're a trainer or a gym owner, you want to learn about the minimalist strength and fitness protocol, check out Master Phil's Body Build method and learn how to be an expert minimalist. ACE continuing education credits are available. Both online and in-person certifications are conducted. The next one we're doing here is on July 19th, and we'll be doing one in Maryland, undetermined date yet. We got to figure out when we're allowed to do that kind of stuff. But, right now it's Friday, April 10th, 2020, and we're besieged with the COVID-19, otherwise known as the ominous coronavirus. Around a month ago, I made a Master Phil YouTube video called The Truth About the Coronavirus. I must admit that there was quite a bit of truth in what I said and what I predicted. But as time marches on, there are many unanswered questions, as we find with many situations, if not all. Politics, control of the populace, and money are behind this. Look at the steps that have taken place. Have you ever heard of the story of how to cook a frog in a pan of water? Okay. If you have a hot pan of water and you throw a frog in it, what's it going to do, Doug?
If you put it in hot water, it's going to die.
Yeah, no, he's a smart frog. What's he going to do?
He's going to jump out. He's going to jump out.
Right? You put him in hot water
right now.
Right? He jumps out, right? So now you want to slow cook a frog? Put him in water. Put him in that pan, and the water's room temperature, and turn up the heat slowly. That frog will sit there and get cooked alive and not even know it. Well, you know what? I think what's happening out there is we're a bunch of frogs sitting in some lukewarm water, and the heat is getting turned up. Yeah, and I mean, you're not going to find the truth on the mainstream media, not CNN, not MSNBC, ABC, CBS, or Fox. If you want to seek the truth, you need to look elsewhere. And are there a lot of nuts out there, and do you have to filter some of these things? Yes, and some people may consider me one of them. If you do, you do. But in regard to this COVID situation, there's a few people that I follow and I've been listening to what they say. This guy is incredibly lucid. This guy's incredible. Dr. Shiva Anuradai. I hopefully say his name correctly, but he's known as Dr. Shiva. He's touted as the inventor of email back in the 70s in a Livingston, New Jersey high school. He gained recognition for other two reports too. First was question the working condition of India's largest scientific agency. The second, questioning the safety of genetically modified soybeans. He holds 4 degrees from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, yes, MIT, including a PhD in biological engineering. He's a Fulbright grant recipient. Now, he's gotten into politics, and he ran as an independent in Massachusetts. He only got 3.4% of the vote as an independent candidate. But that was in 2018. But now he's set to run as a Republican in 2020 for the U.S. Senate in Massachusetts. This guy's interesting to follow. There's another guy, Mikhail Varjavashki. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. MD. He's also known as Dr. Mike. Okay, he's another New Jersey guy. Well, he's actually from Russia, but he has New Jersey roots. He's based here in New Jersey. His practice is in Chatham. He's a Russian-American internet celebrity doctor. The guy's only 30 years old. This kid is sharp. I just love watching him. He calls everyone out. He tells it like it is, and he presents real fact. It's funny because his Instagram account went viral, so to speak. He's also was touted in 2015 as the sexiest doctor alive. He's got a YouTube channel, and it's really cool because he does it's medically themed entertainment. Like, the guy's pretty entertaining, and he's got a great presence. And then there's other people that I follow too. I like listen to Dr. Michael Savage of the Savage Nation, and there's this other guy, Dr. Vaughn Ick. He's an English conspiracy theorist, and he's a former footballer and sports broadcaster. He's the author of over 20 books and numerous DVDs. He's lectured in over 25 countries. I actually found this guy on the London Real site. He's talking about the coronavirus in relation to the 5G connection and so forth. Listen, I don't know how real this is, but it's something to look at. We're going to be raising a lot of questions here. And what I want to do is I want to invoke thought. And I don't want people to just go like sheeple, just walking around, just going through life like, okay, I'll do this. Okay, I'll do that. Because there's a lot of things going on here. Look, I'm conflicted. I know that what we're doing is working as far as the social distancing and being clean and so forth. And, we're going to get more into this. But, our rights are being infringed upon, okay? Especially if you look at our the Fifth Amendment. So our constitutional rights are being infringed upon, because if the government takes property, they are supposed to give you just compensation. So by telling someone you can't run your business is your property, they are actually taking that business from you without just compensation. Yeah, I know we're doing this whole payment protection plan and so forth, and give them some money. We'll see how that works out. It's not easy to file for that stuff. I filled out the paperwork. We'll see how we do. But this is one of the many concerns. I'm looking at, we're gonna discuss some statistics today. Okay, because I'm a numbers guy. Numbers don't lie. But my biggest fear is not the virus itself. It's what's behind it. What is behind this thing? So let's examine some facts. Let's first we'll talk about the symptoms. So these the symptoms we know. People may be sick with the virus from 1 to 14 days before developing symptoms. That's dangerous in and of itself, because people can walk around, have this thing, and not know it. And the problem is that up to 80% of these people, up to 50% of the people are asymptomatic that have been tested. And I'll tell you that those numbers are going to go up when there's mass testing. You're going to see a lot of people have been exposed to it and either had the antibodies or developed the antibodies without getting full-blown sick. But something, 80% of the people recover from the disease without needing any special medical treatment. And if you look at the ventilators, if you go on a ventilator, if you're that bad, you got a 50% survival rate. If you're above a certain age and have certain things wrong with you, you got a 10% survival rate. So,
and the longer you're on it, the less
less your chances are. So, and if you look at it, the disease can be very serious, even fatal, especially for older people and people with other medical conditions, such as asthma, diabetes, heart disease. They be more vulnerable and they can become severely ill. But you know what? We're going to delve into this. I'm going to touch on this in a minute. Let's talk about asthma, diabetes, heart disease. What are some of the biggest contributors to that? sedentary lifestyle, obesity, right? They're all contributing factors to this. Look, if you look back at some of my podcasts, look at our obesity issue, right? We have, about 40% of the people in this country are obese. About 72% are overweight. And you think that those statistics are growing or shrinking? So let's look at some of the telltale signs of the COVID. Okay, people may experience cough, fever, tiredness, difficulty breathing. Those are severe cases when if you can't breathe, they feel like they have something sitting on their chest and they can't get full breaths while your lungs are filling up with fluids. So these are some of the things we have going on. And it leads me to start thinking, who's behind this? Who is behind this? Now, there's some theories out there that this is actually something that was released and being propagated by Big Pharma. Okay. So they say, gosh, Master Phil, you lost it. You're saying there's a big conspiracy theory about Big Pharma. Or maybe it's the Chinese, maybe it's a combination, maybe it's a global thing that's going on. I don't know. But I will tell you this. Last year, I became certified with the CITI. That's a collaborative institutional training initiative. And I became certified in ethics and research. Now, when I was doing the research, we had to take all these tests and study all these different things that occurred in history, historical events, and how people were treated. And man, it was a real eye opener. I mean, many things I had known, but not to quite the extent of what I was reading about the lack of ethics being employed in research and testing throughout history. I mean, you look at some of the things that were done to people, and and say, oh yeah, this country was terrible, but the U.S. isn't the only offender. As a matter of fact, looking at the full scope of it, we were more mild offenders compared to some of these other countries. But it has happened in every single continent by all people. I mean, it's repugnant. The way that these research and testing have been conducted on human subjects without divulging their rights. I mean, God, it's just horrible. And then as you read on, get to more modern times, study after study conducted by Big Pharma. When the results didn't agree with what they wanted, how the drug to perform, and they wanted the drug to perform a certain way, they'd do a couple things. They'd either squash the report, boom, get rid of it, or they'd alter it. They would purposely falsify the data to give them the result that they desired. They wanted the report to fit the information before they put it out. The incidence of this is quite shocking, to say the least. And it's occurred with many drugs that are currently on the market, believe it or not. So, I'm just going to read off a couple things to you that I have. It's that consider the information that was put forth by the pharmaceutical companies in the 1990s regarding opioids. And all this stuff, mind you, was rolled up into the medical schools. So here you have medical students thinking they're doing the right thing, being taught that this is safe, this is okay to do. However, the data that they're getting was falsified. So here, according to Dr. Ronald Hirsch, said after the minor role of physicians comes the real co-conspirators. So some physicians are pill mills, so forth, popping out pills and wanting to churn these pills and get the kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies and the reps and this, that, and the other thing. But they're not the real bad guys here. First up is Produce Pharmaceuticals. They're the manufacturer of OxyContin. OxyContin was approved by the FDA in December of 1995. Despite the lack of increased efficacy in treating pain compared to older medications, Purdue mounted an aggressive marketing campaign that included a warning from the FDA in 2003 over misleading advertisements. Physicians, including myself, believed Purdue and started using OxyContin, thinking that we were helping patients. Here the doctors are thinking they're doing the right thing because of what the pharmaceutical company is telling them, despite what the truth is. And around the same time, OxyContin's approval, the American Pain Society, check this one, the American Pain Society, our third guilty party, introduced pain is the fifth vital sign, the campaign. It's followed soon after by the Veterans Health Administration. Oh, wait, here's my mom's calling in. This is awesome. Hey, Mom, you're on the air. Say hello.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, we're talking about the COVID and the drug companies.
Okay.
So, hey, did you want to chime in? You have anything to say about it?
I'm very confused. What's going
Well,
on?
you know what? We all are, and I'm going to help straighten out some of this confusion, or at least, pose some probing questions for people to think about and get some answers on.
How is she taking this whole fiasco?
How are you taking this whole thing? Dougie Fresh wants to know.
I'm scared.
Scared? Okay.
Yes. I'm scared for my family and my friends and myself because of the unknown. You don't know who's carrying it. And I don't like the isolation. I have not been to a store in 30-some days. Thank God I have a good son and a wonderful daughter-in-law that go to the store for me. But I worry about other old people who don't have anyone, what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And I just pray to God that it's over soon.
Yep. Well, those are real concerns, and we just got to keep saying some prayers, especially this time of the year with Easter and Passover and everything. So.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Talk to you later.
All right. Bye. Love you.
Bye. Love you.
It was awesome. So now we're going to get back to that phone call and say, this is what's happening. And we're going to delve into that. But here, let's talk about this. Let's talk about, so the Veterans Health Administration adopting a campaign as part of the National Pain Management Strategy. This declaration was not accompanied by the release of any device which could objectively measure pain. Hey, Brendan, great stuff. Which could objectively measure pain, as was done with all previous vital signs, blood pressure, pulse, respiratory rate, temperature. And, the pain is the first and only subjective vital sign. Look, because people have different pain tolerances. Some people, they cut their finger, they fall down. Other people, they break their leg, they just get up and keep going. So, pain is relative. So, and if people have a low threshold for pain, they can get addicted to this stuff very easily. Very easily. So then that's on one front. That's just with the opioids. Now, I'm not going to get too far into this. I'm just setting the stage here and showing you what's been going on for a while. Okay, now, next thing you want to do is do yourself a little favor. Do some digging into SSRIs. Those are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Okay, they include such antidepressants such as Abilify, Seroquel, Rexulti, Celexa, Lexapro, Luvox, Paxil, Prozac, Zoloft. That's just to name a few. And here's something that it's out there on the internet, but you never see it on the mainstream media. There's been a couple of people who touched on it. I think Laura Ingraham touched on it once. Savage has brought it up many, many times. Every single shooter, mass shooter, every single one, the past 25 plus years has been on some type of antidepressant drug treatment, or they just pulled themselves off of it. So there are these SSRIs involved. I'm talking about from Columbine forward. Every single one. Here's something from Christopher Lane. He's a PhD, from Psychology Today, and he wrote something about an article in the Los Angeles Times reports. Check this out. So, eye-popping facts about the misuse and overuse of SSRI, antidepressants, the class of drugs that includes Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil, Effexor, Luvox, and Lexapro among the most startling revelations. Check this out. Okay. Researchers at the Rand Corp in 2002 surveyed close to 700 adults who had received a prescription for an antidepressant. Of those who reported receiving the medication for depression, just 20% tested positive when screened for the disease. Okay. Fewer than 30% of those receiving the medication had any depressive symptoms at all. So, put it another way, more than 70% of the patients in the survey presented no medical need for antidepressant treatment. And a further 10% fell into a significant gray area with an insufficient number of symptoms to warrant what is called a DSM, or Diagnostic Statistical Manual for Mental Disorders, for that type of diagnosis. So what is that telling you? Oh, and there's also some other data that's pretty funny, funny, not funny, haha, funny, strange, that if you're talking about human life, the N value in statistics, okay, you have to have enough of a representative there in order to have it from a population, and then you look at your RP values and so forth. So, but you have to have, in order to either prove or disprove the null hypothesis, when you're talking about human life, all other in medical profession, it's based on either a 1% or 0.1%. If it's not within that range, you can neither prove or disprove the null hypothesis. In the psychological realm, do you know what the range of acceptability is? 25%. Yeah, okay. 25%. So you got to swing 25% either way. Yeah, okay, that's science.
So always for like a medication to get approved, it just has to be 25% or more.
Yeah. For the methods, for the inclusive of methods, which includes the medication too, but methods as well. So that's why a lot of people in the medical profession do not consider psychology to be a real medicine. But that's for another debate. Because there's some people who are fantastic at it. So I hit you with some statistics and what we were talking about in regard to what the pharmaceutical companies are doing and what they've done. And this is going on right now as we speak. And look, Purdue got sued for like billions, right? I forget the exact number. The next big thing is going to be those SSRIs. Okay? That's for another podcast, I promise. That's going to be another good one. So let's look at some statistics related to the situation that we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many people got the H1N1 virus?
No, I'm not.
Okay, 60 million. Do you know how many people died from it?
I do not.
60,000. So 60,000 people died from the H1N1 virus. Think about it.
I don't feel like we were at that much hysteria as well.
Nothing near. No business shut down.
Nothing.
I remember I had a student that came in and had it, and what I do is I just disinfected the daylights out of my studio. I pulled the pads, everything got disinfected. Spent the whole day doing it, cleaning up everything. I even lifted things up and cleaned underneath because I'm psychotic like that. So here, check this out. So here, just with the COVID-19, remember we were talking about it before that, here in Iceland, researchers reported that 50% of the novel coronavirus who tested positive had zero symptoms, none. And this testing had been conducted by Decode, it's a subsidiary of the U.S. biotech company Amgen. Now look at this. From December 31st to April 8th, 2 days ago, there were 1,231.2 cases per million in the U.S. Okay? Cases per million. So what's that? Roughly 0.123% of the people have it in this country. So it's around a little more than a tenth of a percent. Okay. Of the population became infected with the COVID in a little over a 4-month period, right? So during that same period, deaths are 38.6 million per million. Okay, so 38.6 out of every million people is dying from this. So that's 0.00386% of the population, right? Divide that by 4 for each of the months, and you're left with 0.000956% per month is dying. Okay? I mean, look, I understand that, the situation's far from over and the numbers aren't complete. But the trajectory that we're at, they're not going to go higher percentage-wise. Chances are, because it's starting to flatten. The curve's starting to flatten, thank God. Okay? But also not factored into the death rate are the people who have died from other diseases but happen to have the virus. They're kind of wrapping that into this number.
Mm-hmm.
People have heart disease, and they have a heart attack, but they have coronavirus. Well, they died from coronavirus. Maybe not. I mean, can you say that they died of the heart failure, or can you say they died of the coronavirus? They had both. How can you attribute one or the other? I mean, you can't say someone gets in a car accident and they're overweight. It's not, they didn't die because of their overweight. They died because of the car accident. So there's a whole bunch of things going on. But if they have a heart attack, could it be from the stress in the system of the virus? I don't know. But this can skew the data, so you have to bear that in mind. And he said, did the virus put additional stress on the system? Yes, but it was a system already taxed. The system was already going to go. It was going to break. So look again: high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, asthma, other such related afflictions. They're often brought on by what? Obesity, lack of exercise, and poor eating habits. Do we have a familiar theme here? Okay. Now check this out. Here's another stat. Remember, I love numbers. Okay, so there were 33,654 fatal motor vehicle crashes in the United States in 2018. Okay, so that's like 36,500 deaths occurred. This resulted in 112 deaths per million. Okay, what is that? 112 deaths per million, right? Or 0.0112%. Okay, and 1.3 deaths per 100 million miles traveled. Okay, so if you look at the COVID death rate, it's relatively 1/3 that of the automobile death rate. Think about that.
But I get what you're saying. But if I get in a car accident, if I go talk to someone, they're not going to get in a car accident.
Yeah, but you might run them over.
Car accidents are contagious.
You might kill somebody else in the car.
True.
Right. So I'm just saying, I'm just putting it in perspective. Yeah. And does anybody really think about fatal car accidents when you go out driving every day?
But what I'm saying is that the more you drive too, the more chance you're going to get in a car accident.
Of course. But here's what I'm saying though. Everybody's preoccupied with the coronavirus, right?
Yes.
But when you get in your car, are you thinking, when you step out of your house, are you thinking about?
No. I'll put it on a seat.
When you go in your car and go shopping, are you thinking about, oh gosh, I got 2/3 of a chance better getting killed in my car than they do dying from the coronavirus. Right. Nobody's thinking like that. This is what I'm saying. I'm just saying, try to put it in perspective.
Absolutely.
So you look at the National Center of Health estimates that 2015, 2016 in the U.S., we were talking about 30. Now this is several years ago, almost 4 years ago, 5. 39.8% of adults aged 20 and over were obese. 7.6% were severely or morbidly obese, and 72% were overweight. How come we're not concerned with this fact? Why not? Because overweight people develop issues that require medicine from Big Pharma. You see the picture we're trying to paint here? See what we're looking at here?
Yeah.
So, why isn't this a national crisis? Sedentary living and poor eating habits are the largest contributors to death in this country, of avoidable or preventable causes. They've surpassed smoking as the #1 preventable cause of death. because big pharma can't make money off of healthy people. They can't. If we build ourselves up by cutting out processed sugars, processed flour, and other such foods and replace them with clean, raw, fresh foods, supplementation, and exercise, the chance of survival scale tilts in our favor. And look, is it possible? Here, I'm throwing this out there. Is it possible that big pharma either planted or helped to spread, or at least is promoting this panic in order to make it mandatory for people to get this vaccine? Just think now. Did you hear the news report? We can't go back to anything normal until no concerts, no socialization, no nothing, until a vaccine is developed, which could be, 18 months away. Yeah. And what is that going to be? Then they're going to beat us down so bad that make sure they say, you have to have this.
Every vaccine. Single person takes the vaccine.
And they'll make it mandatory. You want to travel? You know that U.S. passports now, you can't get one right now, right? You can't renew your passport. Do you know that? It's closed down. Know that. Closed down. You can't renew your passport. What? You don't think that they're going to make you have a COVID stamp on it? I mean,
yeah.
Look here,
like a scannable wristband or something.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. So, you look at remember that drug, the antiviral drug, Gardasil. They were promoting it back in the day, about 10, 12 years ago for women and so forth. I wouldn't allow my daughter to get it, thank God, because guess what? Uterine cancer went up, and then other issues in the female reproductive system were disrupted because of this Gardasil that they were pushing.
There was another one. I was watching all this stuff. I'm watching all the movies like Outbreak. But there's a true story. This lady got some vaccine that everyone was supposed to be taking, and she thought it was safe, and neurologically messed her neurological up. She's like basically paralyzed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there are so many. There's you got to listen to Dr. Shiva. I mean, they're like over pharmaceuticals paid over $400 billion because of damage from vaccines. Right? So here now we're looking at some of these cures, right? What are the other potential cures or remedies? The hydroxychloroquine and a Z-Pak. Why is this helping in case that aren't critical? Look, if you're on a respirator, I don't think this is going to help you. But if somebody has it, it's shown to have some merit. The French researchers have published an article, International Journal of Antimicrobial Agents, describing the potential use of the combination of hydroxychloroquine and antibiotic, the Z-Pak. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration also evaluating the drug, but they have not made their recommendations. Look, here, I'm going to tell you why it makes sense. What is the hydroxychloroquine? It's an anti-inflammatory. So what is that going to do? It's going to bring down the inflammation of the tissues. You see a lot of people who are on these types of medications and other types of medications, when they have lupus or other autoimmune diseases, they're not getting the COVID. Why? Because they're taking these anti-inflammatories already, and it's suppressing the inflammation that's bouncing around the system. And we're going to talk about that inflammation a little bit more too. And then the Z-Pak. Okay, yes. Look, it's a viral infection. It's a virus. This is an antibacterial. That's not going to help it. But what are some things that happen after that? You get infections in the lung. So what does the Z-Pak do? It fights that infection. So is it a potential? Yeah, it seems that it is, and there's a lot of data backing it up, or not enough data backing it up yet, but people are having success with it. So why not explore it? We're in a crisis, So, if they're taking this treatment for, some people are getting better in 2 and 3 days after taking this cocktail.
And that's like the thing that's pissing me off is that like there's so much the media and politics that like we rather like our president fail than actually have this medication work.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We got a caller. Let me see who this is. We got a caller. We got a wireless caller calling in. Hello, you're on Master Phil in your corner.
Hi, Ben.
Hey, it's my wife.
Nice. You're live.
Hey, we're on the air live.
Very cool.
Yeah. So what do you want to contribute to this, or are you just calling to tell me how awesome I am and that you love being in my corner?
What are her thoughts? Let's get her thoughts.
What are your thoughts on all this stuff going on with the coronavirus? And we're talking about how the drug company. I know you're driving. We're talking about the drug companies, and hey, I think that they want to pin us down and make it so we have to take their vaccines. So what are some of your thoughts on it?
I can agree with that statement to a certain extent. I do want to speak to, I think, the mental state that people are in this quarantine and how it's impacting all of us in a way, especially when you go through a traumatic event in your life like we have, where
Yep.
my mother passed away. It makes it very difficult when you want to reach out and be with your family and connect when you can't physically hug someone or console someone, so that's difficult. I think that's a real mental challenge that everyone's going through, is just the disconnect, the physical connection. That's really tough.
You know what? Let's hold that, because let's expand on that a little bit, because you bring up a very important point. You have to understand that humans are social animals, and one of the worst things you can do to a person is put them in solitary confinement. That's what they do when you're a bad person in prison. Well, bad of the bad in prison. You do something wrong, you get slapped into solitary confinement. So this is very disrupting for people, especially in times of need, in times of pain. You can't get a hug. You can't have this social, physical contact. You can't see them for real, like live in person during these times. And now look, and especially during this time of year, we have Easter, we have Passover. These are big family religious times where people they yearn to get together. They want the comfort of the family, religion, and so forth. And everyone's being denied that right now. And it has a very devastating effect. And, especially on older people, who need that contact. They need to feel loved. They need to have people reach out. And we have to sequester them because they're the most vulnerable right now in this situation.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm definitely feeling that, and I know others are as well, especially amongst our family.
Yep.
Our daughter included, who I think is, as a 10-year-old or children, when they go through suddenly being quarantined with their parents, but then add on top of it a traumatic life experience that they need to, go through in their minds and feel and process, it makes it even harder.
Yeah, these are all things that we're considering, but we're gonna pose some more questions, and we're gonna get some people to think and not be sheeple, and we're gonna get some answers, and we're gonna provide some solutions that people can do in the meantime. Well, anything else, or all right? Thanks for calling in, and I defrosted chicken. All right, I love you. Bye. All right, so So now we're talking about, let's run on this a little bit. Some of these effects that are happening here. People are being isolated. People, miss that human connection. And by separating us like this and keeping us quarantined, everybody, it's got to be a better method. And we're going to talk about some of those better methods in a minute. But I want to get back to this now. We were talking about why it works well, and we discussed the anti-inflammatory processes, or the anti-inflammatory. What's the word I'm looking for? Processes.
CPAP?
Properties, and then of course, the antibiotic. The Z-Pack. That's going to help with any of the lung infections and so forth. And it's worth exploring. One of the things that we were talking about too, and something else, and I can't help but think, but a lot of this stuff is interrelated, or people saw our vulnerability. Just think about how vulnerable we've been made. Look at it right now. We don't manufacture much in this country, and 80% of the drugs, 90% of the drugs are made in China. Of our everyday medications or antibiotics and so forth. I mean, that's crazy. And you know what? I'm going to blame 3 entities for this. 3. Okay. And I know it's kind of conflicting at some points because some of these fighters are fighting against each other. But you know what? They're fighting and we're getting hurt. Okay. Here.
Yep.
Production of manufactured goods. We have hamstrung ourselves. And I'm telling you, I'm placing the bulk of the blame on 3 major areas. 1, corporations. Corporations are greedy. Okay, yes, look, nothing against anyone making a profit. That, you know, there's the merits of the capitalist system are incredible. Capitalism has made the standard of living worldwide better than any other method available. Okay, so, but there becomes limits to this. There's too much greed, and they want to squeeze out too many profits because you know what? A lot of people they're not looking at the long term. They're looking at, hey, what's this quarter? What's this year? Everyone's at the quarter, the year, the dividends, and you have to, answer to the board of directors and so forth and the stockholders, and nobody's looking at things long range. Everybody's looking at the quick in and out buck. The quick in and out buck. So corporate greed. 2, unions. And, I'm in the teachers union because I'm a professor, but unions, man, they have priced the American worker out of jobs. Okay. Yes. Should people get paid for the work? Absolutely. And you know what? At one time, unions were definitely 100% necessary. And look, they started out with a good idea, but now look what's happened to them. You got the fat cats up at the top of the unions making tons of dough and basically extorting money from people in the union without any choice. And they've succeeded in what? Pricing themselves out through, wages that are too high and people can't make any profit. So what's the sense? So then the corporation, forget you, I'm going to go take this overseas where I can, get labor at, 10, 15 cents a dollar is costing me here. So increase the profits, lower their cost base. And then politicians. And, politicians make it too difficult for business to operate on an even playing field, and that's about control and greed. So we got corporations that are greedy, we got the unions that are greedy, and then we have politicians who look to control and inflict their greed upon us too, because they want to extract as much tax dollars. And then of course, then we get into the whole thing with the lobbyists, and the union reps with the politicians. It's all intertwined. These guys, they pretend like they're against each other, but they're really all working with each other. And you know who's getting the shaft? Us. Now look at the situation here. I don't think this is it. Oh, this is a wireless call. Let's see who it is. Hello, you're on Master Phil in your corner.
Hello, this is a public message.
Hey, goodbye. Okay, so I should have known it was on line 2. So, so you know what? We are exposed and vulnerable because of these 3 entities. Look at the position that they put us in. Look at our manufacturing. At least, Trump has been trying to do some stuff with manufacturing and so forth. But look at what they've done. So, bearing that in mind now, let's bring up another subject. The Chinese. Something doesn't seem quite right. Okay, let's look at distance here. You know how far it is from Wuhan to Shanghai? 839 kilometers. Wuhan to Beijing, 1,152 kilometers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wuhan to Milan, 15,000 kilometers. Wuhan to New York, 15,000 kilometers. The coronavirus started in Wuhan, yet there's no effect of the coronavirus in nearby Beijing or Shanghai but many deaths in Italy, Iran, European countries, and here in the U.S.
So there was no coronavirus in those major cities.
No.
Wow.
All business areas of China are now safe. So what do you think?
There was never a case in Beijing.
They had nothing widespread, never shut down, never missed a beat. Okay, I don't know if there could be one or two errant cases, but how come it didn't take over?
Yeah.
Here.
Well, they live on top of each other. That should have.
Right, exactly. How come everywhere else, like India, right next door to them's locked down?
Our entire country in Missouri, Louisiana,
right.
Like all like farmlands is taking over.
Look, India right next door to them is locked down, but China's open. Okay, China's also announced.
And I don't want to get you sidetracked, but isn't Russia also only had like 70 cases in the whole?
Had like nothing. Had like nothing.
Aren't they an ally of China?
Oh yeah, I know. How does that happen? How does this happen? And you know, India and China are like this, and India's locked down. Okay, and then you look at check this out. And China's also opened up Wuhan right now, right? Wuhan's open. Where it came from? That's shooting guys. It's there. Okay, so there's not. Check this out. Not one single leader, not a single leader in China has tested positive for this virus. Not one. And yet, look at how the virus has ruined many economies around the world. You know, many have had to close their borders in an attempt to contain and control the spread of this virus. Thousands have lost their lives. Millions now have the disease. Countless people have been locked down in their homes, and many countries have placed citizens on lockdown. They were in it. The coronavirus originated in the city of Wuhan, China, and has now reached every corner of the world, but it didn't reach China's capital, Beijing, and China's economic capital, Shanghai, located relatively close proximity to Wuhan. Right?
Than New York.
A hell of a lot, right? You know, today Paris is closed, New York closed, Berlin, Delhi is closed, Mumbai closed, Tokyo, world's major economic political centers are closed, but Beijing and Shanghai are all open. Okay, no coronavirus seen in their cities. There were only a few cases, but the virus had no real effect on Beijing and Shanghai. So, like I said, just a few. Beijing is a city where all the leaders of China live, including the military leaders. There's no lockdown there. Shanghai is the city that runs China economy. It's the economic capital of China, where all the rich people in China live and run major industries. There's no lockdown there. There's no effect of the coronavirus there. Beijing and Shanghai are areas adjoining Wuhan. The virus from Wuhan reached every other corner of the world, but the virus didn't affect those two cities. How does this happen? So look at another big thing. The worldwide market share has fallen almost in half. In India, the Nifty has gone from 12,000 to 7,000. And the share of the market in China was 3,000 and just merely dropped to 2,700. Okay? This leaves one to speculate that the coronavirus is a biochemical weapon of China, which China used to carry out destruction in order to gain economic supremacy. China has now put this virus under control. Maybe they will also have the antidote or vaccine that they're not sharing with us, with the world, or will do when it's their best interest, when they can charge the highest dollar, right? They created it. They can kill it. Hollywood stars, Australia's home prime minister, Britain's prime minister and health minister, Spain's prime minister's wife, Canada's prime minister's wife, and Britain's Prince Charles, among others, have contracted the coronavirus, but not a single political leader in China, nor a single military commander in China have tested positive. This makes one think, how does virus spread from Wuhan to Milan, New York, LA, Europe, but not to Shanghai or Beijing? Makes you think, right?
Yeah.
Makes you think. And, you know, so now we're stuck in this situation. What the heck can we do? So, you know, the CDC provides some advice. let's explore the advice that they give us. Okay. Well, one, we all know there's currently no vaccine to prevent the coronavirus. And the best way to prevent the illness, as in many cases, is to avoid being exposed. Okay. I have some other things to add to this too, but I'll add those when we talk about what Master Phil has to say. So the virus is thought to spread mainly from person to person. So between people who are in close contact with one another within about 6 feet. So you want to stay back off 6 feet. Okay. I mean, it's a nice rule, but droplets can actually travel farther. Just saying, especially if someone does a projectile sneeze or cough, those droplets are going to travel up to 25 feet. They're not telling you that stuff. Okay. It says it's spread through respiratory droplets produced when an infected person coughs, sneezes, or talks. These droplets,
which stays in the air for 3 hours.
The what, buddy?
Which stays in the air for 3 hours.
3 hours. It can linger. It lingers.
Yeah, it stays there.
Yeah, you walk through it. These droplets can land in the mouths or nose of people who are nearby or possibly inhaled into the lungs. That's when you get in trouble. Because when that bad boy roots in those lungs, the funny thing is, though, the virus really doesn't do anything except replicate. It's us, our antibodies, trying to fight it that cause all these issues. Anyway, some recent studies have suggested that the COVID-19 may be spread by people who are not showing symptoms. I'm like, no kidding. Up to 50% show no signs. Okay. So it's saying avoid close contact. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Yeah, thanks for telling me that. Stay home as much as possible. Yeah, you want to lock us in our homes. Put distance between yourself and other people. Remember that some people without symptoms may be able to spread the virus. Keeping distance from others is especially important. And, this is for the people who are, at very high risk. And, the thing that needs to really be done is we have to go and really address the people who are at risk. They should be the ones that are primarily sequestered until we gain herd immunity to this. Okay, because it's not going to go away like that. The herd has to become immune so that it winds up dying. But we have to still function. I'll go out when I'm going to the store. I'm going to wear a mask. I wear a mask and so forth. Not for my protection, but for the protection of others. Okay? I'll guarantee you this, Doug. I will look at that thing. God bless you. I'll guarantee you this, that I've been exposed to it. People say, because I have people that had a bad flu that I worked with in January and February. They're out for 2 weeks, so forth, with many of these symptoms. I worked with them. I was probably exposed to it. More than one person I'm talking about. And what, did the coronavirus just show up here on March 15th when they said to lock us down? Heck no, it's been going on for months. Probably had it here since December, maybe November. Who knows? We just didn't know it. We need to focus on the people who are at risk. Okay? So, and they go on to say, cover your nose and mouth with a cloth and others. And you can spread the COVID-19 even if you don't feel sick. Everyone should wear a cloth over their face when they have to go out in public. For example, the grocery store to pick up necessities. They're saying cloth face covering should be placed over young children. No covering over a child like 2 years old. Or if somebody's having breathing issues, unconscious, incapacitated, blah, blah, blah. The cloth face mask is meant to protect other people in case you are infected. I said that from the beginning, right, Doug? Remember during the truth about coronavirus?
Mm-hmm.
They're saying do not use a face mask meant for a healthcare worker. Well, why are they saying that? Well, because of the shortage. But that's being ramped up right now. So if you have N95s that at your disposal, I don't see a reason not to use them. continue keeping that 6-foot distance. You know, the cloth face covering is not a substitute for social distancing because you can still get some particles out, but it does, you know, filter out quite a few of them.
And this is what, not to cut you, not to
yeah, no, go ahead.
not to interrupt your flow, but this is what all the news is freaking out about right now, is because there's a whole discrepancy between wearing a mask and not wearing a mask. And where the confusion's coming in is like one of the I forgot her name, the main doctor on the she's on the panel all the time. She's like, well, nothing beats the 6 feet of distance, right? So she's saying, like, regardless of if you have a mask or not, you got to be 6 feet away. So that's what she's stressing on. But yes, of course, wearing a mask is going to be better, like, than not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
But like everyone's like freaking out. Do we need to wear a mask? Do we not wear a mask? Well, obviously, more is better. But she's trying to explain that 6 feet of distance.
6 feet is the distance.
Like, she doesn't want people to wear the mask and then start hugging people.
Right.
No, the mask is extra protection. You still need to keep that 6 feet of that space.
You know, though, I have to laugh though, because I see people in their car with the windows up, mask on. What are you doing? There's no reason whatsoever for that. They just don't feel like taking it on and off. But I'll tell you, I just wear mine when I go into shopping malls. When I'm walking out in the street, I don't wear it because I'm not going to get 6 feet from somebody. I
was online at the supermarket, and I'm geared up. I have a whole hazmat suit on, but the person next to me has like gloves and a mask on, but is on their phone and has the glove in their mouth as they're typing on their phone. The tip of their finger, like they like pulled it off and was typing on their phone. The tip of the finger in their mouth. Like, good job, dude.
It's like Ron Moore. Great job. Here's something else I saw this a couple times. I saw people with masks on smoking cigarettes. Just seemed weird to me, you know.
Now, how about this? Can smoking kill the virus? Because you're killing your lungs. Could it burn the virus? Is that a theory?
Actually, you know, because the smoke is not good for your lungs, and it promotes deterioration in your lungs, so you're probably more at risk. Well, look at
killing it from both sides.
Look at how many people smoke in Europe, and how many people are having issues. Like everybody smokes in Italy, especially in Milan. So let's look at some real action, okay? Aside from what the CDC recommends, which 90% of this stuff is common sense, like wash your hands. Look, I mean, I'll tell you, so many times prior to this, I hope we come away with some good, clean habits from here, because people don't wash their hands. They go in a bath, they go places, they don't wash their hands, they touch their face, they touch somebody else, they shake your hand. I mean, so many diseases are spread simply by washing your hands. And cover your nose and mouth while sneezing or coughing. Duh. Yeah. Wash your hands. Cover your nose and mouth, sneezing or coughing. Those are common sense things that everyone should be doing. But you know what? Unfortunately, too many people do not do this. Okay? So I have a checklist. Master Phil's health checklist.
Nice.
Coming down to it. We got to take action. Proactive here. So masks. I wear them to protect others. Okay? I don't know how long we're going to have to do that, but I wear them because you know what? I don't want to give grandma the COVID and have that on my conscience, whether I know it or not. I don't want to do that. So if I'm around, it's on my face. Cool. I wear the gloves. We're going to talk about gloves, though, too, because some people are saying not to wear gloves. We're going to talk about your Ron Moore friend. Ron Moore friend over there. Okay. Social distancing works. Obviously, keep it in mind, at least until we have an idea where this whole thing is at. Okay? Where we're at. Social distancing, keep it up for now. Wash your hands 20 seconds with soap and water. You don't need these antibacterials. Some people are talking antibacterials. Guess what? It's not a bacteria. It's a virus. And, soap, good old soap and water destroys the lipids. And that's the fat. Fat is what coats the virus. You break through that fat, 20 seconds washing, scrubbing, kills the virus, gets to the core of the virus because it destroys the lipids on the outside. Okay. And here, I don't see anyone in mainstream media talking about this. Take supplements. Vitamin C. Powdered is the best. If you get the powdered one, like those emergencies are good. But you want to jack up your vitamin C. Vitamin D. Okay, especially this time of the year, in this area, because, we're not outside much. We're outside. It's, there's not much strong sun and so forth. We're not getting enough natural vitamin D like that. So you have to take the supplementation. Vitamin D is linked to so many positive health promoting, immune boosting attributes. I mean, you should be taking vitamin D. Live culture probiotics. What do I mean by the live culture ones? Are they a little more expensive? Yeah, they're the ones that are in the refrigerated section. But those live culture probiotics, they help with your gut health. That helps boost your immune system. Probiotic, right? Probiotic, okay? Liquid minerals. Liquid minerals, man. Just take the liquid minerals. The cool thing about liquid minerals, they also act as the transport system to vitamins into your cells. Okay. Zinc, you need zinc, magnesium, all these things are great for you. So you should be taking those. Okay, wear rubber gloves. When we're out shopping and so forth, wear the rubber gloves. But you know what? Some people in the medical profession are saying, don't wear them. Well, why? Because of knuckleheads like the guy you saw on the phone. You're not doing yourself any favors with the gloves. I mean, look, there are plenty of videos out there on how to, take a glove off. I happen to be trained in bloodborne pathogens, so I know how to take off the glove properly. You take it up here, you turn it inside out, boom, turn itself, and then you do the same thing the other side, and you dispose of the glove properly. Or you can do what I do. Another, if I need to save the gloves, I was just out for a little bit. I keep my wipes with me. Okay, I keep a bag of wipes in a Ziploc bag in my vehicle. Boom, I wipe my hands, wipe the steering wheel down, wipe everything down, and then I'm good to go. Okay? So that's why they're saying, people are cautioning against gloves. But the other thing, when you have gloves on too, your tendency to touch your face is a lot less because you have something on. Eat fresh fruits and vegetables daily. Raw is better. A lot of times when you cook, you cook the nutrients and so forth out of fresh vegetables. So, raw fruits and vegetables, man, jack up on them. Eat them. They're good for you. Eat lean meats properly prepared. Not doused with all kinds of nonsense. Consume your lean meats. And the thing is, you don't need to consume mass quantities of animal protein like many people think. You don't. 20-25% of your diet is more than sufficient, with animal protein. There's other sources of protein that are clean as well. And the carbohydrates, so forth, the clean carbs and grains and so forth are excellent for you. Stay hydrated. You have to stay hydrated, okay? And there's something that goes hand in hand with this hydration, especially during the cooler months, is use a lotion, okay? Dry skin permits pathogens easier access to your body. So maintain moist skin, hydrated, and it's also great for your system for getting toxins out. Okay? I have this drink, I call it my elixir. Generally once a day, either in the morning or at night, doesn't matter. I've been drinking at night lately. I take a slice of a lemon, apple cider vinegar, and put a little honey in there, and I make a tea out of it, put it in the microwave for 2 minutes. That is great. Apple cider vinegar has great properties for boosting your immune system, not to mention, lemon is fantastic for you. I always put it in my water as well. So, but I always, here's the thing. I scrub, and I've been doing this forever. I can't even tell you how long. I scrub my fruits and vegetables with a, my mother's calling again. Yeah, hey, Mom, still on here. Yeah, I got. I'm doing my wrap up. You got to watch it live on Facebook.
All right, please call me.
Okay.
Okay. Bye. I want to make you laugh.
Okay. Goodbye. Awesome. So I've been scrubbing my vegetables and fruit. I use the rough side of the sponge forever. Clean them. Oh, another tip too. You want to get rid of the germs in the sponge? Take a paper towel, put it in a microwave for a minute every day. Kills all the germs. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, because the dirtiest area in your house is your kitchen sink. So I scrub that too. Clean that with Comet and my sponge, and then I clean my sponge. A whole bunch of crazy stuff. I've been doing this forever. Okay. Okay, guys. Work out.
What's that?
Work out. Train. Okay. I'll tell you this straight up. You look at the people being most adversely affected by this, and what are they? They're the people that are out of condition, the people who don't eat right, the people that are eating all these foods that are inflammatory, processed sugars, processed wheat. I mean, gosh, all these foods. Hey, what's up, Bobby? What's going on, Robert? All these people are eating these things that are bad for them and causing this inflammation. When you have inflammation in your system, you're asking for it. We want to reduce that inflammation. And you know what? Working out helps you get rid of your excess weight and also improves your cardiovascular system. There are many, many people that are using my method, and guess what? They're off their meds, and they've gotten off their meds, and they stayed off of them. So guess what they just did? They took themselves out of an at-risk community just because of working out and eating right. And you know what? They're not giving the drug companies any more of their money. And they're pulling themselves out of the risk category for the COVID. So, I brought up processed sugar. Sugar has been touted as the most addictive chemical out there. Sugar, it's incredibly addictive. People get addicted to this. And it tastes so good. It triggers chemicals in your brain to want you to have more. Okay, you got to stay away from sugars. Cut them out of your system. Cut out the sodas. Cut out that garbage. Another thing is limit alcohol consumption. Okay, especially in these times. Alcohol consumption has gone sky high right now. People are going crazy with alcohol because they got nothing else to do. They're watching Netflix and getting loaded.
Yeah. I'm not a drinker. I got a full fridge of beer now.
Coronas?
No, actually not. They stopped making them too.
So, the thing is that you have to stay away from this stuff. You have to limit it. Limit your alcohol consumption. Hey, you have a glass of wine or a beer or something. That's fine. But you're having 2 and 3 and every night after night after night. And alcohol is empty calories. Okay? Empty calories. There's no nutritional value in alcohol. Another thing is don't use narcotics. Don't use narcotics. Okay? Stay away from drugs. Another one is, we talked about this before, maintain a healthy weight. Coronary heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, and other such afflictions can all be avoided by maintaining a healthy weight. Now, listen, you don't want to walk around like an emaciated waif, but you do need to be at a healthy weight. And again, these people, look at who is affected by the coronavirus, right? People with asthma, people with diabetes, people with high blood pressure, people with coronary heart disease. These people are part of the at-risk community. Pull yourself out of that. It doesn't take a little effort, yeah, but you know what? So is life. So, the funny thing is that, this advice I'm giving is nothing new to me and others that I associate with, right? We're labeled as health nuts or fitness freaks, but you know what? For the most part, what we're doing is we're building and boosting our immune systems and making ourselves less susceptible to diseases like the coronavirus and other such ailments. And who the heck knows what's the next thing that's going to come down the pipe. So these are some of the things that I want to share with everyone. And do we have any callers or anybody else calling in?
We do. I'm trying to get Robert on here.
Yeah.
Trying to get Robert on here. So
Tell me to call my cell. He's got my cell.
I'm trying to get him. I'm giving him a link. Let's see if we can get him on the show.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Get some fancy stuff over here.
He's a great guy. So, like I was saying, what we have to do is protect the at-risk community and let the other people get back to work. This is what our goal needs to be. Because this isolation, this destruction of our economy, the dependence upon the government that's being fostered by this is not something that's good nor should be taken lightly. You're not able to get them?
I'm waiting for an answer. I sent them the login.
All right. Well, so you got any thoughts on this before we wrap it up today?
I got a lot of thoughts. I got a lot of thoughts, and we covered a lot of them. Well, yeah, I mean, let's see. There's a lot. I think it might be there's weapons involved and pharmaceutical conspiracies. I mean, there's something going on that this is not just some like cold that came out of nature.
Right. Oh, this was definitely created. And we just have to see what we have to get to the bottom of this, and we're gonna work this. Okay, guys.
Wait, before you go, I do this. Apparently we can't get him on video, but I could do something fancy like this.
All right.
And there you go. So that's what he wants to know.
Well, you know what? You don't have to sit there and get and go to Whole Foods to get good foods. You don't have to worry about what happened to us. You don't have to worry about getting going to the Whole Foods and getting the most expensive organic stuff. You can just go to a regular store and get good healthy foods. I'm talking about stay away from the garbage. Stay away from, high fructose corn syrup. Drink water. Hey man, you know what? Water. How are you going to get any healthier water? Drink. Except in Flint, Michigan. Drink water. Drink teas. Don't drink sodas. Drink coffee. Okay, have things like that, and cut out the garbage. Stay away from sugar. Hey, you know what? Eat a piece of fruit. Eat some vegetables. Walk to the store if you can. If you live close by, it would get even more healthy. But you know what? But that's not terribly expensive. Prepare your own meals. Making stuff at home costs a lot less than going and buying anything. So hopefully that helps you out.
Oh yeah. I've been eating the best and the worst at this time. Like best cooking some good food, but then I get lazy sometimes and making like ramen noodles and SpaghettiOs.
I tell you, I haven't delved into the canned stuff yet.
Yeah, I got a good stash though now. Every time I go, I get a couple of stash it away because you don't know that one day they might just shut down the supermarkets. Really,
the funny thing is, something aside, why are people hoarding toilet paper?
So I have a friend, Hector. Shout out to Hector. I was actually messaging him trying to get him on because he's been putting out these conspiracy theory videos, which are a lot of things that you're touching based on. I feel like you guys would have a good conversation. But I was talking to him the other day, and the reason for the toilet paper apparently is when people started first typing in like coronavirus or COVID-19.
Yeah.
The only tests and answers they had thus far were in animals, like the only test they had about the virus. And in dogs, the first symptom was diarrhea. So I think that's where like people Googled coronavirus at the very beginning of this thing, and then saw this article with dogs having diarrhea, and there you go. Everyone got
There you
told.
All right. So anyway, that's where that's where it came from. Guys, well, let's fight through this. Let's stick through it together. Don't be sheeple. Stand up for your rights, and we're gonna beat this thing. We're Americans, and I'm proud of you. Stay strong, stay focused. Master Phil in your corner as always. Strength and honor.